looking for, I don't have to come directly back up here. I can go down to Georgia or whatever from Columbia. Yeah, and then I'll come back. I'm just trying to get back by the weekend, but I ain't got to come straight back. Wonder how you get over here to this place. This place will have the whole, well, not the whole city, but this side of Greensboro smelling like cake. Y'all know how it is. Tell you to be here at 8 o'clock, and it's 9 o'clock. They don't have the VOL, so I'm still waiting. Life as a trucker. So I got, let me put this window up. Somebody left a post the other day, yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Somebody left a post, a trucker's wife, saying it was the worst job. It was the worst job. Trucking is the worst job. I can understand why she would feel that way, because she's not trucking, her husband is trucking, and what it's doing is ruining, in her mind, is responsible for ruining their relationship. And the thing is, you know, trucking creates an opportunity for the person who is trucking to express poor habits. Trucking is not doing this. That's just like saying a gun, you know, a gun is a tool. You use the tool to kill somebody, then it's a bad situation. Trucking is a job, is a tool, and if you abuse the trucking lifestyle, then you get a bad situation. The problem is not trucking in and of itself. The problem is the person. And it's important, what I was saying when I responded, it's important to understand that for many reasons, but mostly because if you have it in your mind that is, you know, is all on trucking, first of all, how are you going to hold him responsible, hold him accountable at any point? Or is it because he's trucking, this is what I got to deal with? No, understand it's the person. So don't just let it go. Because I've seen posts where women stay in this situation for years and years and years and years and miserable. And it gets uglier and uglier. And it doesn't have to be that way, because one of the good things is, she was saying how the guy was a totally different person prior to trucking, which, you know, was part of the reason why she said trucking is the cause of this problem. But so if that is in him, then he can revert back to that. Well, what happens, what I believe happens, is one is that people don't even realize how they've changed, and they might be stressed out, or it could be because they're stressed out about the job situation. They might have been lied to, misled to get in the door, so it's nothing like what they expected, and so now they're stressed and are not dealing with it well. Or they could be, and so they're unhappy, unsatisfied, and so they're not dealing with it well, and it has a negative impact on the relationship. Or it could be they have allowed themselves to become distracted from the relationship and the family situation by shiny objects outside of the relationship, whether that's communicating with another person. I've read about waitresses at the truck stop and all this, and drivers that get be calling them and communicating with them, sharing all their business with those people. And so now, you know, you're diluting yourself. I did a video, but that's part of the problem, is that people classify cheating as this one thing. And if you're not going out and having sex and all this stuff with a woman, in your mind, you think it's not cheating. Well, if you're diluting your attention away from a relationship because you have allowed somebody else to come in and you're dealing with it at an intimate level, even if it's just communication, even if it's sharing your business at home, talking about your wife or your kids, your situation, and you're taking that conversation away from your significant other, what's the difference? You see what I'm saying? You're no longer focusing your total attention on the family and on the situation. I gotta get to the job. So, and what happens is the person may not even realize that, and they're acting some kind of way because now, I mean, it's just crazy. So you see, all of this stuff goes on, but if you figure out where the problem actually stems from in your husband's attitude, then you can address that and help him see that, and hopefully, especially after saying how the guy actually used to be a totally different person, hopefully upon recognizing how it's having a negative impact on his relationship, then whatever is the problem, then he's more mindful of it and changes attitude, changes behavior. It's probably not like a switch, or it might be, because if it's just another person, it could be a switch. If you realize it, maybe you just cut the person off. But if it's something more complex, then he can begin to work on it. For instance, being stressed out about the job, letting it bother him, letting it get to him. And now what I said to this person is that it's not the trucking, it's the same thing with guns. It's not trucking, it's a lack of personal development. Because if a person has coping skills and is mindful about how they are allowing things outside to affect them, affect their thought, the attitude, the behavior, the relationship, then it doesn't have the same impact. But a lot of times people allow all of these things to affect them, and so they bring all of that stress and everything into other parts of their life. That's all personal development, or lack thereof. And so with trucking, you being gone, you got all that distance, then it allows opportunity to express that lacking in that area of personal development. Now you could say it's trucking indirectly, but any other thing could have came up that also allowed the opportunity. Say a money issue, put money in, I don't know, a job, on a house, or in a car that breaks down. The engine locks up, so now you're out of 10, 15, 20 grand, the engine locked up. Or the house, the contractor get away with the money, and maybe you've been saving for it, and it goes bad. You know, a person can allow all of those, the stress from any of those types of incidents, to have a negative impact. If she don't hurry up and move, then I'm going back in the dock, trying to let her pull out the way. But I'm gonna cut the video short. But what's my point? So my point to you is to remind you that you have to nurture your relationships, man. The reason that's why I keep bringing up, some people unsubscribe to the email because they say they're tired of me talking about relationships. I'm tired of seeing y'all suffer in these relationships, and I done told you, if you're single, stay single for a little while, man, till you are happy where you're at in life, in trucking, and then allow yourself to get in a relationship. Stop jumping in relationships feeling like you got to be tied to somebody all the time, when the situation, in her situation, this situation ain't exactly that, but some of y'all are jumping in situations where you could be putting off, so you're going to encounter some of this stuff prematurely. Alright, I'm out of here. Yeah, we finally loaded now. One pallet, 3 hours. Ridiculous. Missed my return load because of that. But, you know, that's how it goes in trucking. You have these days, make the best of it. But the guy had got out the truck. I can't see him. Where did he go? Need to call him. about this load because they're making a killing off of y'all vapors. That's what this is, stuff that's going to ruin the vapors. So let me call them and let them know I'm loaded. I'm supposed to stop. I'm supposed to let them know if I stop or get delayed for any reason. The primary problem with a truck driver's relationship is going to be communication. Well, it's probably a toss-up between the money and the communication, and this falls along the same lines. Each person could end up having a problem with the other one and assuming that something is going on that is not actually going on. But you see, that's why you should have a talk about how you're going to do things, and that's why you got to be intentional. That's why you got to have a plan. We're talking about budgets. We're talking about the way time is spent, the way home time is spent. You know, you got to be careful not to take each other for granted. Especially, you know, we got to have it being out on the road of somehow thinking the woman is able to understand what we're going through. And even the fact that, you know, you might not feel like talking to this, that, or the other, she is not going to get it. And so the best course of action is to go ahead, whether you feel like it or not, is to call home and make sure your loved one knows that they're being thought about.
Construction was reported on I-85. Turn right at the traffic
light. My first load with this new injector in here. Injector. They said when you replace an injector, might as well replace the harnesses. If you got a good woman, you better stick to her. Someone to be proud of. That is someone you don't ever want to let go. My friend, listen to me. It should not take a lot of encouragement for you to do what you need to do. Because look around real good. Good women are hard to find. Especially a good woman to love your behind. Okay, nah, listen, but for real, man, listen. The distance apart in a relationship of a trucker is probably like 10 times worse for the woman than it is for the driver. And especially if the woman has a lot of issues she got to be dealing with regards to the home front, like kids, a lot of bills, whatever. You know, some families got a lot of stuff going on. Some may only have the electric and gas or whatever. But the more stuff to take care of, to be responsible for at home, then that just intensifies the distance in the relationship. So she's taking all this to heart and having to deal with it. I'm a driver, so I already know your part of it. I'm still telling you, you know, she don't know your part of it unless she's been out on the road with you, and she still can't really get it unless she's been out there long enough to see the different situations that you encounter. So again, that's what I'm talking about. You can't assume that she understands. She can't understand because she hasn't gone through the daily activities to be able to comprehend what it is that you're going through. So the bottom line is, if you care about the relationship, then you're going to have to go ahead and be proactive in nurturing that relationship and making sure she knows how you feel about her in the relationship. And ladies, I hear you say all the time, you know it, if you got a good man, the same applies for you. That man wants to know that he is loved. He wants to know that he is appreciated. And your words directly is what does it for him. And for the other guys who like to get out there on the road and have fun, you just remember that good women are hard to find. And, you know, it doesn't matter how much begging and apologizing you're going to do. If you're caught, it will not erase the damage that was done. It can't reverse time and ignore what has happened. You will have to deal with all those issues that comes up because of having extramarital affairs, and that's just the reality of it. And if you're thinking that you can't get caught because you're on the road and thousands of miles away, the problem is this. First of all, is you're being so confident and feeling that you can't get caught. And second is, if you are somebody that actually cares, then it's going to start playing with your conscience, where you're going to probably start acting funny toward her. It's going to show in your actions, or it's going to show in your attitude, or it's going to show in your level of trust. So you're going to have signs of something being wrong. You may even start accusing her of things, and it's all because of what it is that you are doing yourself. So don't put it in your mind that just because you are away from
home that whatever you do is all good. I just hope that you will think that through. And especially if you're listening to this CD for motivation and you're trying to gain traction in achieving your goals, realize that sooner or later, improper handling of your relationships will be an oil spot on the path to your destination.